If there's anybody that's going to want to speak at tonight's meeting, please make sure that you're on the sign-up sheet. We're going to go ahead and call this regular meeting of the McGregor City Council to order. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. Please stand. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, we'll go ahead and start with public comments. Mr. Wooten, would you, oh, that's on an agenda item.
Yes, sir.
Okay, well, we'll just go ahead and hold off on that then. All right, next on the agenda is consider approving minutes of council meetings held on August 14th and August 15th, 2024. We do not have those minutes ahead of us, or in front of us, excuse me. I'll entertain a motion from the council to postpone approving minutes for August 14th and August 15th, 2024 until the next meeting.
I make a motion to table the consideration, postpone the consideration of minutes.
Second.
For August 14th and 15th.
All right, we have a motion and a second to postpone approving the minutes of the August 14th and 15th, 2024 meetings. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed, nay. That motion carries. Next item we have is the street program presentation.
Good evening, Mayor, members of council. Tonight before you is just kind of an update. The last time y'all saw this presentation or a version of it, I believe was, I guess, probably 11 months to the date on the October 9th, 2023 council meeting. So just going to give you kind of an update on where we're at with the work that we at Walker Partners are doing for y'all, what the city has done, what we also have done in the past, and what city crews are doing, and kind of where we're going to look to move forward from here. We're just going to skip through these real quick because y'all have seen that. We don't need to talk through that. So this map shows the streets that we had identified last year. This map has been before you before. Again, what's in red are the priority 1 streets. So those were kind of the first set of streets that we had identified that needed almost immediate attention. The cyan or the blue colored lines are priority streets. So what we've identified for kind of the next round of streets moving forward. And then the green are streets that city staff has identified for work that they can do themselves, where we would not need to go out and do engineering or get a contractor to do that work. So kind of at the middle bottom of the screen, there's 2 orange lines that have popped up. And so just to give you an update, those 2 orange lines, that's on Fillmore between 6th and 8th Street, and 7th between Lincoln and Fillmore. Those 2 streets have been overlaid by city crews within the last 3 months, Chad? Is that correct? March, okay, so within the last 6 months. Those streets were not originally identified, but after everything that happened over the course of the last 12 months, or I guess 6 months since we gave you the initial presentation, city staff felt like that street needed to be addressed. A lot of the pavement along the curb and gutter was gone, and there was weeds and stuff basically growing in the road. There was some patchwork that had been done in the past that needed to be addressed. There was some utility patches, stuff like that. So the city has gone in and overlaid those streets. There was also a little bit of additional curb and gutter that was replaced as part of those streets as well to clean some of that up. So that's the work that the city has done. Obviously, not a lot of what was originally identified, but based on everything that happened this past year with all the rain that we received, city crews have been focused on some more drainage improvement projects that weren't really on the books until we kind of got all that flooding. So the green streets are still on the list. They are still identified to be done by city staff moving forward, but they just have not been addressed yet. The next one was Johnson Drive. Obviously, that project has been completed. That was originally planned to be a reclamation. Looking at cost, and we did some investigations into what the existing pavement structure looked like. And after doing that, we realized, hey, we really don't need to reclaim this. We can just do what we call level up, which is filling in some of the dips in the road with hot mix. We widened it. We did a chip seal, which seals kind of all the cracks that are in the existing surface. And then we did do an overlay on that. So the next couple of slides are just pictures from that project. Well, here's Fillmore Street. Here you could, again, on the left was what it looked like prior to the overlay. And on the right, you can see city crews in there overlaying that street. And as I mentioned, kind of on the far right over here, you can see some of the curb and gutter that they replaced. Johnson Drive, again, completed that in 2004, widening from 2 12-foot lanes to 3 12-foot lanes with a continuous center left turn lane. That final construction cost was about $1.2 million, originally estimated at 1.5, and then kind of how the funds broke out. We used the remainder of the city's ARPA funds and a little bit of the road bond fund to cover the overage. And just pictures of that. Again, that's kind of what Johnson Drive looked like before. Again, you can see some of the cracks in the pavement here, and as well on this side, just along the wheel path. So in those areas, we came in and did that level up. Pictures of doing the widening, and then the chip seal on the right side. Again, the left side of the road, you can see where we've completed the chip seal, and they're working on the right side in that picture. And then this is their paving operation and kind of the final product on the right, where it's the stripes. So moving forward, again, showing our map of priority 1 and the projects that have already been completed. A couple more little things will pop up here. So the orange circle is 4th Street between Pierce and Taylor. As we got into design of the project and talking with city staff, we decided to remove that block from this project. There is a utility cut along there, and there's some curb and gutter that could use to be replaced, but we just felt like from the condition that it was in, it didn't really justify doing a full reconstruction of that roadway. So we took that out of the project. What we ended up adding is on 10th Street, so here, we extended the limits. We went ahead and added the rest of 10th Street, so from Taylor to Tyler. We added that length. And then here on Ash, over here on the far left, we added this section of Ash. As you know, as has been presented, there is a potential development moving in here. So with new streets coming in, we felt like that section of roadway, it would be beneficial to go ahead and replace that, to reconstruct that section of roadway. So again, this is just kind of everything listed. Green, again, represents streets that the city will be doing preventative maintenance on. Red is what's been designed, what we have surveyed and designed to date. And then the cyan is what would be done moving forward. This is just additional streets that we identified, and just kind of the yellow being Johnson Drive, because that was kind of a separate and apart. So again, on the orange, this is what's been done. Originally, we had just identified from Pierce to Fillmore, but the city added an additional block, so it went from Lincoln to Fillmore. Johnson Drive has been completed. On 4th Street, this has been taken out. We're no longer doing this project as part of priority 1. And then 10th Street, we added this length from Taylor to Tyler. We added about 400 feet to that street. So, getting into cost. This was the original matrix that you saw as part of the previous presentation. So, taking these costs into consideration for the streets, the water, and the wastewater is a total of about $2 million is what we were estimating. And then as part of the soft cost, adding in a 20% contingency, we were at about $2.4 million. Making the changes, taking out 4th Street, adding the additional 400 feet to go from Taylor to Tyler, and adding in Ash, we're now at about $2.5 million without the soft costs. So just these hard costs for street, water, and wastewater, adding a 20% contingency based on this table, we're at about $3 million. And our current estimated engineer's opinion of probable cost for the Street 1 project is right at $3 million. So kind of what we've estimated using this table, we're actually pretty close on doing a more in-depth cost estimate. Any questions on any of that? So next steps. So priority 1, again, it's been surveyed. We have finalized the design. We are advertising that project for proposals on September 12th, so this Thursday. We'll open bids on October 8th, and we'll be bringing that award of that project before you at the next council meeting. And then following that, Walker Partners, along with city staff, will sit down, kind of hold a scoping meeting to reevaluate, make sure that the streets and the blocks that we identified as priority 2 streets are still appropriate. If we determine that we need to move some stuff around, then we'll reprioritize those streets based on their condition and the city's budget, and then we'll bring that back before you, before moving forward with Walker Partners presenting a proposal to do surveying and engineering. And that concludes the presentation. Any questions or comments?
So we're going out for bids, and then it'll come before council. If all goes well, when would when would citizens start to see progress on the streets?
So, obviously, we'll start with the utilities, so water and wastewater. After bidding, after council approval, I would say it would be probably a month before the contractor got started in earnest. So I would say beginning of November, you would probably see the contractor start to mobilize, bringing in equipment, materials to start replacing the water and wastewater.
Okay.
Any other questions for Jacob?
I have a question about the green.
Okay.
I have another one. Sorry, Jim.
No, that's fine.
I noticed on the green ones, so the ones that the city will be repairing, when do we plan on, like, will you be helping with those projects, or is that just on our city department?
Typically the city staff has been handling them themselves.
Okay. Okay.
There has been discussion, and we probably just need to sit down and talk about it some more, but we've discussed going out for a proposal for, say, just throwing a supplier out there, but like a Knife River, somebody that produces asphalt, to basically go under contract for them to provide asphalt over the course of a year, you know, to try and help facilitate some of those projects. Because a lot of times, if you know, hey, we're just gonna do what we did. We're gonna do Fillmore and 7th. You know, the cost per ton, you may not get as competitive of a cost if you're just doing those 2 streets. Whereas if we did something on kind of a yearly basis, you know, we might be able to get a more competitive cost. So the city's talked to us about that. We've talked about assisting in that process, but we just haven't moved forward with that yet.
And Chad, on the green ones, do you know when we might be starting as city staff?
We did have plans to do more this year, but like he had mentioned, the rains, the floods, we kind of got redirected on a lot of that drainage issues. Repairing streets was a big thing that were washed away from floods. We'll probably evaluate as we get into the new budget cycle and see. I'm not real sure which one we'll start with, but it depends on weather. I mean, there's just a lot of factors, but I'll keep you up to date.
Okay. Yeah, I noticed some people in the audience on one street that is green here today, so I just wanted.
Sure.
I want to let them know. So thank you for that.
The equipment that we have now, is that where you have to wait until the temperatures are a certain degree or constant, or do we have something that we can do it?
There will be a period in the winter. I don't know what the actual, Jacob might know the temperature that they recommend. I think I've heard 50 degrees or higher it needs to be. The problem we have is we make our asphalt runs or hot mix runs in our dump trucks. If it's cold, then by the time we get back, you know, it's cooling off too, and it doesn't work well once it's cooling off too much. So we're actually exploring the idea of having it trucked in by, you know, possibly Knife River, whomever we can get to truck it in. If they can truck it in, then that's going to help us because they can actually bring more than what we can get ourselves. So we're kind of exploring some things as we go, trying to do a better job of it.
Is it still an hour-and-a-half round trip just to get asphalt?
Yes. Yeah.
All right. Anything else? No. Thank you, Chad. Thank you, Jacob.
Thank you.
All right. As many of you may know, our judge has decided to retire. So what we have is a proclamation of the City of McGregor to honor and declare September 10th, 2024 as Judge Jim Gailey Day. We are here today to pay honor and celebrate the dedicated, selfless service of Judge Jim Gailey to the citizens of McGregor, Texas. And whereas Judge Gailey served the citizens of McGregor in various offices, first as an attorney at law in his private practice, and also as a McGregor Municipal Court Judge for 26 years from 1998 through September 2024. And whereas he has served on the Planning and Zoning Commission, serving several of those years as chairman, and guided the commission during the rewriting process and adoption of the Planning and Zoning Master Plan. And whereas he was a longtime member of the McGregor Lions Club and served 1 year as the club's president, and also served as the club's tail twister for many years. And whereas he selflessly volunteered for the running events for the Bulldog Relays, and whereas Judge Gailey has announced his retirement at the end of the day on September 10th, 2024, after conducting his last court duties as McGregor's municipal judge, and whereas as mayor of McGregor, and on behalf of the entire city council, I want to express my sincere appreciation to Judge Gailey for his exceptional service to the city of McGregor and wish him much happiness and success as he begins this new chapter in his life. Now therefore I, Mayor Jim Lilly, and the members of McGregor City Council do hereby give its highest commendation for the manner in which Jim Gailey performed his duties as city's municipal court judge, being a gracious citizen of the city of McGregor, and give special thanks to his dedication to service and kindness to the members of the public. Do hereby proclaim the 10th day of September 2024 as Judge Jim Gailey Day. So, we will be signing that. You have the pretty one.
I would just like to make a comment, and I'll, you know, being a former employee of the city, I got to work with Jim for about 8-9 years, and he was, to me, he was such a great fair, and he was a great judge for our city, and I thank him for his service, and I wish him well in his retirement. It's well deserved, and I can't believe he dedicated that many years to the city, but that's amazing, so.
All right. We'll move on to the next one. The reading and signing of a proclamation of the City of McGregor to observe the anniversary of the drafting of the Constitution of the United States of America and designating September 17th through the 23rd as Constitution Week. A proclamation of the City of McGregor to proclaim the week of September 17th through 23rd as Constitution Week, whereas September 17th, 2024 marks the 237th anniversary of the drafting of the Constitution of the United States of America by the Constitutional Convention. And whereas it is fitting and proper to accord official recognition to this magnificent document and its memorable anniversary, and to the patriotic celebrations to which commemorate the occasion. And whereas Public Law 915 guarantees the issuing of a proclamation each year by the President of the United States of America designating September 17th through the 23rd as Constitution Week. Now therefore, I, Mayor Jim Lilly, by virtue of the authority vested in me as Mayor of the City of McGregor, Texas, do hereby proclaim the week of September 17th through the 23rd as Constitution Week, and ask our citizens to reaffirm the ideals of the framers of the Constitution had in 1787 by vigilantly protecting the freedoms guaranteed to us through this guardian of our liberties, remembering that lost rights may never be regained. And once again, Angela has the more attractive version of that one. And I'll be signing that here in a few. Agenda item number 5, hold a public hearing on application for certificate of appropriateness for the rehabilitation of the chamber building front facade and entryway at 303 South Main Street. Brian, the floor is yours.
Evening, Council. Y'all visited this one last month and sent it back to them for some reevaluation. Mostly with the colors was an issue. They did meet with the Historic Commission last week. There should be some swatches that were there on the, that's it. Historic Commission did recommend this for approval on the premise that they would use one of the more muted reds and a not stark white, more of a creamy white or a little bit of an off-white, just to give some contrast, but not fire engine red, not a pure white on that. They are going to replace the doors and do the trim and then paint the brick, and then depending on cost they may replace these windows, but right now they're going to keep the windows. But it was recommended for approval by the Historic Commission. So.
All right, so at this time it is 6:53. We'll go ahead and open the public hearing if anybody would like to speak on that. Hearing nobody, we'll go ahead and close the public hearing at 6:54 and move on to agenda item 6, which is discussion and possible action regarding application for certificate of appropriateness for the rehabilitation of the chamber building front facade and entryway at 303 South Main Street.
Can I see the colors?
Can you see? Yeah, absolutely.
I think the middle red was the one that they wanted them to use. There was 3, like a bright red, a dark red, and then the one that's in the middle.
So it's kind of that dark
Yeah.
red.
Yeah.
That dark red right there. And those were the 2 whites? It's like they were pretty much.
Yeah, they wanted them to use a softer white than that, something that was a little bit more creamy than the ones that were selected. No, they deliberated using the historic palette. The argument was made some of the colors that are on the historic palette are also not ideal for downtown. I mean, there's like avocado green or worse on there. Even purple, which mimics the reason that the Historic Commission was created because of our famous purple building. So they did deliberate on the colors. Those were provided by chamber staff, and they felt like if they went with a little bit darker red and a little bit more off-white, that they would still elevate the front but preserve some of the historic integrity downtown by trying to make it fresh. And they did present a couple of buildings that are already painted. This is not a good example, but the barber shop is painted there. This is the Vibe. It's got painted brick. It's white. And then you know, this is not a very good example either, but you've got blue and gray. So there's different colors downtown already. So they're not changing the architecture of the front of the building, just trying to elevate the look with a little bit more of the color that they use in their marketing and their branding right now.
Were those colors before the palette was?
I think so, yeah, some of those were.
Except for the barber shop, I think the rest were. And a lot of times things got painted where they have building. Well, no, that's why we have the historic palette.
Right.
Because there wasn't.
They did look into some different things like urban schmear, but it was just more cost prohibitive than just paint.
And then it'll be outlined in black, with white.
Yes,
All right. Well, this has been recommended by the Historic Commission, so I would entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion, we approve the application for certificate of appropriateness for the rehabilitation of the Chamber of Commerce building facade and entryway at 303 South Main Street.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion on this? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay? That motion carries. Item number 7, discussion and possible action regarding an amendment to the McGregor Youth Baseball and Softball Association lease agreement with the city of McGregor. Who in city staff is gonna present that to us?
That would normally be Cassie, but Cassie is out due to a family emergency. This is essentially what we're doing now, but it amends what the old agreement had, and it's been updated a little bit with amounts and numbers. But Charlie Williams is president of the association. He has a board. They meet pretty regularly. They handle all the recreational stuff. We provide the fields and the facilities. We partner with them on some things like the sprinkler system we did last year on the big field. The fencing, it's worked out real well. We've got some really nice facilities, and in exchange for that, they run it through the year and have exclusive use, and then if they have other tournaments or stuff like that, that's up to them.
All right. And Mr. Wooten, you're here to speak on that agenda item?
Yes, sir.
Please approach and identify yourself.
Mayor and council. Mike Wooten, I'm a member of Ward 3. I'm also appointed to the Community Services Board, which is where this conversation came about. So we reviewed this lease at our recent meeting, and I just wanted to speak on it. In my opinion, while others might share my opinion. And so first I wanted to say that obviously youth sports is important, and we absolutely need a Little League association in McGregor. I do not feel that associations should have exclusive year-round rights to the city fields. I think the structure of the agreement should be limited to the baseball season. Understanding that during that season, exclusive rights might make scheduling easier, but I don't even think that we necessarily need it to that extent either. I could go down item per item and give my opinion, but I think the gist of what I wanted to speak about here is that I felt like the lease that they're proposing is certainly only in the interest of the association and not necessarily the city and the community that the field is.
All right.
So, thank you.
Thank you. All right, Kevin, how does that work with the association and using those fields?
Well, while they don't have a lot of use during the off-season, they still maintain them, which takes a lot off of us. I mean, Charlie's out there a lot of the time. I'm not sure what your alternative would be. I'd be happy to discuss it with you at some future point, but I think wasn't this recommended to the board by the community?
We were,
Board.
we were gonna be having, our board was gonna review the old lease and look at the new lease, and at our next meeting, discuss, I guess, what we would like to change to come before council. So, I know the discussion was that we would like to see the fields be used, or we feel like that the community would like to see those fields used more than just McGregor Little League. And so that's kind of where our concerns were. Like, if an elite team in off-season wanted to come and use the fields, that was kind of like our question, because right now they would not be allowed to. Is that correct?
I don't know. That I'll go through Charlie. I don't know.
We would have to, okay.
But we can table this. I thought this was coming to us from you. So if
No,
that's not been done,
we still,
okay,
we
then-
still wanted to have discussion
Then we need to
about it.
table this until they get done with it.
Okay, at this time, I'd entertain a motion to refer this back to the committee.
I make a motion that we refer the McGregor Youth Baseball Softball Association lease back to the committee.
Okay, I have a motion and a second to refer the amended lease agreement back to the commission. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Nay. That motion carries. All right, agenda item number 8, discussion and possible action regarding revised 2024 City of McGregor Drought Contingency Plan. Chad, or is this gonna be you or Robert?
We're gonna ask Robert.
Basically, this is just a update on the previous drought contingency plan we had. TCEQ wanted some changes made to some of the language, and a word added here or there, and changed a couple of numbers on there. We have already adopted it once, but due to the changes that they wanted, we need to adopt it again.
Well, when did we last adopt that?
Probably, I know it went up in 22, but it also, the original was adopted in, I think, 16 or 17.
Okay. So it would be time to renew it anyway?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I have read through this, and I do have a copy of it on my phone. And,
Brought a copy just in case you needed one. The highlighted stuff is what they wanted the language changed on, or
Right.
what was added or changed out.
Right, and seeing how they are the regulatory agency, that is what we have to do.
Yes, sir. And this copy has been approved through them already.
Okay. Well, ladies and gentlemen, if you'd like to, get yourself some, quality bedtime reading. Go right ahead.
Make a motion we accept the 2024 City of McGregor Drought Contingency Plan.
Okay, we have a motion.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion on this new or revised drought contingency plan? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay. That motion carries. And now, we're gonna get into the meat of it. All right, agenda item number 9, discussion and possible action regarding appointment of members to the Building and Standards Commission. Currently, we have 3 members with terms expiring. And it looks like all 3 members are willing to serve further, and I have not heard of anybody else wanting to get on that commission. Those members with expiring terms are Mike Buchanan, Trent Rice, and Eric Benitez.
So do we have to do them all separate?
Seems easy to me.
Okay. I make a motion, we approve Mike Buchanan, Trenton Rice, and Eric Benitez to the Building and Standards Commission.
I second that motion.
All right, there's a motion and a second to reappoint Mike Buchanan, Trenton Rice, and Eric Benitez to the Building and Standards Commission. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay. That motion carries. All right, we have agenda item 10, which is discussion and possible action regarding appointment of members to the Community Services Advisory Board. We have 2 people with expiring terms.
You're both gonna come back.
And it looks to me like they are both willing to serve another term. So Catherine Roden and Nate Merring.
No, I did first.
And,
Nate Mooring and Catherine Roden. That's what we're talking about?
yes,
Okay. And I make a motion that we approve Catherine Roden and Nate Mooring to the Community Service Advisory Board.
Second.
okay, we have a motion and a second to reappoint Catherine Roden and Nate Merring to the Community Services Advisory Board. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay? That motion carries. Number 11, discussion and possible action regarding appointment of members to the Economic Development Board. We have 4 expiring terms.
So Andrew and I get onto this board.
Yes.
Here.
Okay, John Hudson would like to stay on, and Otis Foster would like to stay on. We have apparently nobody else interested. So I will entertain a motion on that.
I'll make a motion that we reappoint Andrew Henderson, Sherry Adams, Otis Foster, and John Hudson for 2-year terms.
Yeah. There's a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay. That motion carries. Item number 12. Discussion and possible action regarding appointment of members to the Historic Commission. We have 3 expiring terms. And we only have, yeah, Terry is, chair of the Historic Commission? Sorry? Oh, is he? Great. Terry. All right, well, we can,
We want to approve the people we have.
yes, I think that would be the prudent thing to do is go ahead and approve those two and,
Okay.
Bonnie, I thought you were on this commission. No? Hmm. Okay.
Okay, I make a motion we approve Watson Arnold and Young Carnes on the Historic Commission.
I second.
all right, I have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay? That motion carries. Brian, you need to get you need to find a good candidate for that.
Which position is needing to be filled?
Terry Sloan's
Historic.
on the Historic Commission.
He can remain on there?
He has not shown interest.
Oh, he's not showing interest, okay. All right.
He's not here to defend himself.
All right, item number 13, discussion and possible action regarding appointment of members to the Housing Authority Board. We have 3 terms expiring, and all 3 people are wanting to extend their terms, so I will entertain a motion there.
I make a motion we approve Bernice Stanford, Jerry Payne, and Linda Thomas on the Housing Authority Board.
Have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay. That motion carries. Item 14.
I know Pat Richardson said he didn't want to do it.
Yeah,
didn't he? No reason.
okay. Discussion possible action regarding appointment of members to the Planning and Zoning Commission. We have 3 expiring terms. One of those who's actually chairing the committee right now would like to stay on. So we have 2 openings, and we have 3 people interested in serving.
So do we want to go with this Mindy Price? And this is
Yes, Mindy's in the back.
Mindy right there.
Lloyd Davis is here. He's in the back hiding. And Gary Davis. Yeah, he's the email that we got in.
David Miller. This is David Miller.
Yeah, that's the one that we just got in.
And that's Benitez.
That's Lloyd.
That's Lloyd.
Yes,
Lloyd. What is that one?
Davis.
Davis.
We can put Lloyd and
And Mindy.
Gary Davis on there, just make it easy with both Davises.
And Mindy. All right.
So we have 2 positions.
They haven't been?
Oh, he hasn't been because there hasn't been any contention.
No, there hasn't. So you'll be doing separate?
Well, this one there is.
What was the name we have for the planning and zoning?
Yeah.
Planning and zoning,
I said, what are the names?
you have Mindy Price, Lloyd Davis,
And David Miller.
David Lillard wants to stay on, and then we have a 4th individual wanting to serve, Gary Davis. Who'd have thought that planning and zoning would be that popular?
And that's true. It's where you make friends. Okay. I'm gonna put David Lillard on.
Okay,
Because
you
he's on, okay.
you do
I
that.
make a motion that we put David Lillard on the planning and zoning commission. I second that, okay.
Okay, a motion and a second to extend David Lillard's term.
I make a motion we put Mindy Price in Pat Richardson's place on the planning and zoning commission. I second that. I make a motion we put Lloyd Davis on David Benitez's place on Planning and Zoning Commission. Did David Benitez mention the paper, did he?
No.
Okay, okay.
Okay, so
Wasn't
there's
sure. I got this.
a motion and a second to extend David Lillard's term, replace Pat Richardson with Mindy Price, and replace Danny Benitez with Lloyd Davis.
That's what it is.
All right. Is there any further discussion on that? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Ayes have it, motion carries. Okay, now we have the zoning board of adjustment.
I think we have all three of them, don't we? Jeff. Gene Taylor. Okay.
All right.
I make a motion we approve Jeff Burgess, Ella Kelly, and Gene Taylor on the zoning board of adjustment.
I'll second that motion.
Have a motion and a second to extend the terms of Jeff Burgess, Ellie Kelly, and Gene Taylor to the zoning board of adjustment.
Right.
Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay. That motion carries. All right. Discussion and possible action regarding appointment of members to the tax increment reinvestment zone number 1. And actually, the next agenda item is 17 for the tax increment reinvestment zone number 2. Angela, can I go ahead and combine those? As far as we're concerned, it's the same people.
The only difference in the first one is it has more participation because of the college.
Right.
Because they do two.
Okay, so, well, okay, we'll go ahead and do it separately then.
Will we take Jim Herring off and put you on?
Yes. Okay, so agenda item 16, discussion and possible action regarding appointment of members to the tax increment reinvestment zone number 1 board.
So I make a motion that we, put Jim Lilly in place of Jim Herring. Is
Well, hold on.
that what I need to do? On board 1?
Yes, we can do that
On board 1, tier 1, shall I say?
on TERS 1.
Board member, is that right?
Okay, now we also have 2 openings,
I know, I see that.
and,
So what are we doing there?
well, I don't have any names or
We have nothing
anybody in front of me to
Put there.
put there.
It wasn't put on the list.
These are a little different.
Yeah, Brian, this is another one that you're gonna have to really take control of and find a couple.
What do we want?
Well, we can,
The tax increment zone, they don't meet on a regular basis, they meet as needed. One of them hasn't had a meeting since December, they had one today, and the other one hasn't had a meeting since April, and they met today. So a lot of the election changes and then people vacating their positions and things, that's all kind of new. So we'll need to find folks, we can advertise it in the paper, or y'all can put your feelers out for people to represent the community, but, Mayor Lilly was previously a representative of the community, so he'll probably just move to where, former Mayor Herring's position was, but that'll leave, where Terry Sloan was and where Mayor Lilly was for representatives of the city, and then a person from the community college has left. They do have someone that they won't have recommended to fill that position, and then, Doc Anderson, not running for reelection, so that position will need to be filled as well.
All right,
You can put a council person on this and have 3, that's fine. But you can't have more than
right.
Who was the representative from community college? We need to go ahead and name him.
His name is Mark Harmson. He's the new VP of Finance.
He would be in John Ed's place. Or maybe John Ed's alternate.
No, he would be replacing the alternate, which was Benson.
Be the alternate then. Mark, what?
Harmson?
Okay, so,
So we wanna put,
I would volunteer if you need another supervisor.
I'd volunteer too. If you need to see the person, do you need two people here?
Yes.
That's what we're asking. So Bonnie and I would do this.
No.
You can't do
Only
this.
Because
one
that
more
would-
council member.
Huh?
Put a council majority on
then we'd have
Well, then
a,
I'll go over here. Cause if you need somebody with where he is, don't you? Is he coming on?
yeah,
Okay.
Yeah.
it. We only have 3 council people on it.
have
But you're
Bonnie,
not on this tier two is what I'm talking about.
yeah, have Bonnie on
Bonnie can-
TERS 1 and,
Me on tiers two.
Switch on turn, turn two.
Okay, I'll go here.
okay, so,
Terry's,
If you need somebody else,
Terry's not in October.
I'm sorry,
if you need somebody else, I'll sit on another committee board.
It says.
can he do
The
that?
only one that's marked is Jim Henry.
That's Jim Lilly.
Can,
Oh, I see.
hey, Brian, you checked the charter on there, right?
This is one you.
I haven't looked at it yet, but I can.
Okay, Mr. Wood, we'd be more than happy to entertain you on that, but, we gotta make sure that we can legally do it. All right, so right now, then, I would entertain a motion to, have me replace Jim Herring as the mayor representative on TERS 1 and appoint Bonnie Mullins to TERS 1.
So I make a
Or
motion.
You want to?
I'm on tiers two.
Who the hell they talking about putting on?
Oh, and Mark
Mark
Harmson.
Yes.
The alternate for MCC.
I make a motion to replace Jim Herring, the mayor council position, with Jim Lilly. To replace Jim Lilly with Councilmember Bonnie Mullins. And for MCC as an alternate, Mark
Harmson.
Harmson. To tiers number 1 board.
Yes. All right. Is there a second?
Second,
Okay.
sorry.
Have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay. That motion carries. Now to discussion, consider action regarding appointment of members to tax increment reinvestment zone number 2, TERS number 2 board. And we run into the same thing there.
Yeah, because we have to replace you.
So
with
I'm
No,
Mary.
I'm saying you said
And I'm
Yep.
replacing
you
Sloan.
wanted this one too.
Yep,
Yeah, normally,
that is the case.
that's how it would be, but they want one to serve one and one to serve the other. That's how Bonnie and Sherry wanna do it, and they can.
So don't we have to have somebody take your
But
place
normally, whoever was here
We will.
would serve them too.
eventually?
Yes. Oh, and,
Yeah, but
we don't have to worry about Mark Harmson. MCC is not part of TERS number 2.
Normally, everyone who serves here serves them as well too.
same.
So, Bonnie, would you care
They
to
want it
make a motion?
Or I can make,
Well, you can.
or I make a motion to replace Jim Herring with Jim Lilly as the mayor council person and Sherry Adams in Jim Lilly's spot as council member as well. And then we will have an opening for the tiers number 2 board.
Correct. All right, there's a motion
Second.
and a second. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay. That motion carries. All right, the last one of those coming up. Discussion and possible action regarding appointment of members to the McGregor Airport Zoning Board. So,
Well, you're just gonna take the place of Jim Herring.
well, that is the one opening on the McGregor Airport Zoning Board is Mayor Herring.
Well, Jim Hall is
Well,
now
till
the
it
mayor
makes
of Waverly.
positions open.
Right.
So that's their problem, not ours.
So I make a motion to replace Jim Herring with Jim Lilly as the representative mayor on the McGregor Airport Zoning Board.
All right, there's a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay. That motion carries. All right, item 19, discussion and possible action regarding the nomination of candidates for the 5 positions serving the McLennan Central Appraisal District Board of Directors for the year 2025 by resolution R12-2024. Oops. Yes. And we got a little bit of paper in front of us right now.
Yeah, we do. Oh, that's a paper in front of us. Piece of paper, we're supposed to have. Yeah. Okay. Sweet. Mine's different from where I know it is, I just can't find it.
Are you ready for a motion?
Absolutely.
Make a motion that we assign all 34 votes to Ben Perry for resolution R-12-2024.
All right, we have a motion and a second to give our 34 votes to support Ben Perry, who is actually sitting as the chair of that board of directors right now. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay. That motion carries. Right. We do like Ben.
Yeah.
Got to sit through a couple meetings with him today already.
He's gone.
All right, item number 20, receive financials as of July 31st, 2024.
All right, Mayor, Council, our July 31st represents 83.33% of our year. The first slide is comparing budget to actual. And as you can see, revenues are not quite where we thought they would be for any of the funds, really. And then expenditures are a little over, we were in the exchange, but again, this is budget. This is not comparing year to year. Now, our general fund, net cash flow is $930.8 thousand lower than the previous year. Revenue is down $463.7, and expenditures are up $467. The revenue decrease is due to lower building permit fees of 435.8, offset primarily by a monthly transfer of personnel charges as budgeted. Expenditure increases are primarily due to an increase in personnel charges and other charges, such as the $100,000 subsidy to Corel EMS that was not obligated in the prior year, offset by a decrease in contracted services and capital outlay. Our contract with Corel, if they make a profit, then we don't have to pay the subsidy, and that's what happened last year. Our utility fund net cash is $211,000 higher than the previous year. Revenue is at $560, and expenditures are up $349. The revenue increase is due to higher water revenues, brought about by increased usage, approximately 56.8 million gallons. Expenditure increases are primarily due to larger capital purchases, such as a new F-150 and a new John Deere backhoe. And there's been several pumps that we've had to buy this year that was unexpected as well. I will say that the wastewater department is over budget in expenses, and that's mainly why. But they were like 80 or 82-year-old pumps, and they finally gave out. So to keep water flowing, or whatever flowing, we had to take care of it. The exchange net cash flows are down $70,500 as compared to the same period last year. Revenues are down $28,000. Expenses are up $42,000. Building maintenance is up nearly $20,000, primarily due to the LED replacement project. And other charges are up $19,600, and the remainder of the increase relates to personnel charges. Our airport fund net cash flows are up $11.7 thousand as compared to the same period last year. Revenues are up $81,700, and expenses are up $70,000. Revenue increases are primarily due to the reimbursement from the ramp grant and an $18,400 increase in hangar rent, with the remainder of the increase in miscellaneous income and interest. Expenditure increases include personnel charges and capital outlay, with the remainder of the increase in building maintenance. This year's expenditures are up due to ramp grant reimbursement, also increasing from 50% to 90% of $100,000. So we're trying to make sure we take advantage of that grant. Your cash flow, that's just showing you what I just told you. And then here's your cash in bank, which individually listed. And then here's the operating accounts are up 2.2 or 2.3. Your debt service is up 179.9. Capital projects are down 83.7. Grants were up 583.8, and pool cash was up 2.96. And then we get to our sales tax is still rising. It's fiscal year 24 is at 2.146 right now. So that's it.
All right. Does anybody have any questions for Carolyn? No, thank you, Carolyn.
You're welcome.
All right. Item 21 will be a closed meeting. Closed meeting pursuant to Chapter 551 Texas Government Code in accordance with the authority contained in Section 551.071 Legal, Section 551.072 Real Estate, Section 551.074 Personnel, and Section 551.087 Economic Developments. I'm assuming that we're going to be discussing economic developments.
Real estate and economic development.
Real estate.
And personnel.
And personnel. Ah, yes. Yep. Okay. So under real estate deliberation and possible value of real estates, under personnel, under Texas Government Code, Section 551.074, deliberation of appointments of the municipal court judge. And under D, economic development, under Texas Government Code, Section 551.087, discussion regarding economic development negotiations, including commercial or financial information received from a business prospect seeking to locate, stay, or expand in or near the city of McGregor, and to discuss economic development negotiations and/or to deliberate the offer of a financial or other incentive to a business prospect. So at this time, being 7:35, we will go ahead and enter closed session.
birthday from us.
All right, it is 8:11. We'll go ahead and go back into open session and start with agenda item 22. Discussion and possible action regarding approval of ordinance O-22-2024, an ordinance of the City of McGregor, Texas, abandoning a .525 acre portion of an undeveloped right-of-way originally designated as 3rd Street in the plat of Old Town McGregor. We've already discussed that. We can, I will entertain a motion by ordinance number.
Make a motion to approve ordinance O-22-2024.
I have a motion and a second to approve ordinance O-22-2024. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. That motion carries. Item 23, do we have any announcements from our city manager?
You do not, sir. You heard from me enough tonight.
Well, it's on the paper, I had to ask. Request,
What?
Well, if you've forgotten it, I'm in trouble. I've been sick since then, so.
okay, do we have any requests or comments from the mayor or city council members? I have nothing.
I got some.
All right.
I would like to, look into, find out exactly what the, I guess the, ordinance, code, or whatever it is for us, the use of public restrooms. And one of the reasons why I bring this up, because it have happened several times, and plus I was wondering too, what is the, how, for us when we, like business stuff that come into here, for us them, that our business having public restrooms, because what's, I don't know if any of y'all have experienced this, but I have, my wife have, I know other citizens that have, just, you know, people just complain, but they don't want to pursue it any further. But what's happening over at that car wash, the new car wash, my recollection, if I'm not right or wrong, but what's happening, because for what I know, they don't have a restroom over there. If I'm not mistaken, if I'm wrong, somebody needs to correct me on it. So what's happening, people walk over there to that dollar store in Woodcock Street store.
Family
Now, for some years, since they've been there, I've noticed, I mean, on several occasions, I've had a whole lot of other people experience the same thing. Now, and I can understand their reasoning, but I'm still saying that's a business, public business, you know, for the public and the citizens here in McGregor, or anybody, I mean. But I know that just like in your house, in business, anything breaks. All of us know that we probably had breaking stuff in dealing with our sewage system. But I think what really was to start happening and come to place, and it's something I would like to find out or know what it is that can be done about it, or even if it is anything you do about it. Because what they're doing is putting signs on those restroom doors and saying out of order. Now, you might be out of order, but you ain't gonna be out of order no months at a time, weeks at a time, 5 days at a time. Because I'm saying, you know, whether it's on, and they got it right, I can understand, I can well understand it. They don't want people just coming from over to the car wash and going in there and just using the restroom. But that's still the public restroom. But they've even, like I said, it happened to me, it happened to my wife just today, it happened to, this is on a personal thing too, but it's been other citizens. My sister-in-law, and she's just like me, she's a diabetic. So she had to use the restroom. She got this big old pile of stuff up there at the counter. They told her, we don't have a public restroom. The restroom she said it's out of order. Now, like I said, this is not the first time that it happened. It happened over and over. Now, and I understand what the dollar store is doing. They're saying, like, a lot of people come over there. But now, if you got people in there buying your product they're up there at the counter with the stuff on the counter and ask you to use the restroom, they got to use the restroom. You know, wouldn't they just pay for the stuff and go on out the store? See, and I think that's being a disservice to our citizens if it is something that they can be looked into to be done with on however part, if it's on that car wash part or if it's on the
Well, I'm surprised the car wash doesn't have it. So I've got a staff meeting in the morning, and I'll ask Barry to look into it for me.
And I can understand it both ways, but my point is, you know, our citizens shouldn't have to be indulging in doing that for us going in that dollar store, you know, and which we know that's not gonna happen, but the best thing to do with that, either quit using that car wash or quit using the dollar store and Dollar Tree. Somebody would react to that, but you don't want that. You don't want that in your tax. You don't want your citizens. They came here, it's something that people use. I use the dollar store. I have used the car wash. I don't like it, but I went there one time, but I'm just saying, and I know that's kind of what happened, and I think it's something we need to look into and see if it is anything or any way or whatever. But I know good and well that restroom not. If it is broken, they got some sewage problems. They got some bad problem that they need to fix if that's what's happening. And you know, they open it every day. You know, people are working there, going there every day. So
Yep.
you know.
All right, we'll look at it in the morning.
All right.
Does anybody have anything else?
appreciate it.
Having no further business, we'll go ahead and adjourn at 8:18.